Clara had always felt like a stranger in her own skin. For as long as she could remember, there was a part of her that longed to express herself in ways that felt forbidden, ways that society and her own insecurities had told her were wrong. She had spent years burying that part of herself, trying to fit into the mold of what a good husband should be. But no matter how hard she tried, the longing never went away. It was always there, whispering to her in the quiet moments, urging her to be brave, to be herself. When Clara met Daniel, she thought she had found someone who could love her for who she was, even if she wasn't entirely sure who that was yet. Daniel was kind, patient, and open-minded. He was the kind of man who didn't shy away from difficult conversations, and Clara had always admired that about him. But even with his understanding nature, Clara had never been able to bring herself to tell him the truth about her deepest desires. She was afraid of rejection, afraid of losing him, afraid of what it might mean to finally embrace that part of herself. It wasn't until their 5th anniversary that Clara finally found the courage to broach the subject. They were sitting on the couch, a bottle of wine between them, when Daniel brought up the idea of an open relationship. He had been reading about polyamory and non-monogamy, and he thought it might be something worth exploring. At first, Clara was hesitant. The idea of sharing Daniel with someone else made her stomach twist in knots. But then, as she thought about it more, she realized that this might be her chance to finally explore the part of herself that she had been hiding for so long. "What if," Clara began, her voice trembling slightly, "what if we did try an open relationship? But not just for you. For me, too." Daniel raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What do you mean?" Clara took a deep breath, her heart pounding in her chest. "I mean, what if I could explore other sides of myself? Sides that I've never really been able to share with you." Daniel's expression softened, and he reached out to take her hand. "Clara, you know you can tell me anything, right?" Tears welled up in Clara's eyes as she nodded. "I know. It's just hard. I've been hiding this part of myself for so long, and I'm scared of what you'll think." "Whatever it is, I love you," Daniel said firmly. "Nothing is going to change that." Clara took another deep breath, summoning every ounce of courage she had. "I've always felt different, like there's a part of me that doesn't fit. And I think I want to explore my feminine side. I want to dress up, to wear makeup, to be her, to be Clara." Daniel was silent for a moment, processing her words. Clara braced herself for his reaction, her heart racing. But then, to her surprise, Daniel smiled. "Clara, that's amazing," he said, his voice filled with genuine warmth. "I had no idea you felt that way, but I'm so glad you told me. If this is something you want to explore, I want to support you, however I can." Relief flooded through Clara, and she felt like a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. For the first time in her life, she felt truly seen. And with Daniel's support, she felt like she could finally start to embrace the part of herself that she had been hiding for so long. The first few weeks of their open relationship were exhilarating. Clara felt like a new person, finally able to express herself in ways she had only dreamed of. She started experimenting with makeup, watching tutorials online and practicing until she felt confident enough to go out in public. She bought dresses, skirts, and heels, reveling in the way the fabric felt against her skin. She even started going by Clara full-time, introducing herself to new people as the woman she had always known herself to be. Daniel was supportive as he had promised. He helped Clara pick out outfits, gave her tips on how to style her hair, and even went with her to her first appointment at a gender-affirming clinic. Clara felt like she was living a dream, finally able to be herself without fear or shame. But as the weeks turned into months, Clara began to notice a change in Daniel. At first, it was subtle, a slight hesitation when she asked him how she looked, a distant look in his eyes when she talked about her plans for the future. Then it became more obvious. He started spending more time away from home, claiming he was working late or meeting up with friends. When he was home, he seemed distracted, like his mind was somewhere else. Clara tried to brush it off, telling herself that Daniel was just adjusting to the changes in their relationship. But deep down, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. One night, After Daniel had come home late yet again, Clara decided to confront him. She had spent the evening getting ready for a date with a man she had met online, and she had been looking forward to sharing the details with Daniel. But when he walked through the door, he barely glanced at her before heading straight to the bedroom. "Daniel," Clara called after him, her voice trembling. "Can we talk?" Daniel paused, his back still turned to her. "I'm really tired, Clara. Can it wait until tomorrow?" Clara felt a lump form in her throat. "No, it can't. I need to talk to you now." Daniel sighed and turned around, his expression unreadable. "What is it?" Clara took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves. "I feel like something's changed between us. You've been distant lately, and I don't know why. Is something wrong?" Daniel hesitated, his eyes avoiding hers. "Nothing's wrong, Clara. I've just been busy, that's all." "Busy with what?" Clara pressed, her voice rising slightly. "You're never home anymore, and when you are, it's like you're not even here. I feel like I'm losing you, Daniel." Daniel's shoulders slumped, and he finally met her gaze. "I'm sorry, Clara. I didn't mean to make you feel that way. It's just this whole open relationship thing, it's harder than I thought it would be." Clara's heart sank. "What do you mean?" Daniel ran a hand through his hair, looking conflicted. "I mean, I thought I could handle it. I thought I could be okay with you exploring this side of yourself, with you being with other people. But the truth is, it's killing me, Clara. Every time you go out on a date, every time you come home wearing someone else's perfume, it feels like a piece of me is being torn away." Tears welled up in Clara's eyes as she listened to Daniel's words. She had been so focused on her own journey, on finally being able to express herself, that she hadn't stopped to consider how it might be affecting him. "Daniel, Clara began, her voice breaking. "I didn't realize. I didn't know you felt this way." "How could you not?" Daniel asked, his voice tinged with frustration. "I've been trying to be supportive, Clara. I've been trying to be okay with this. But the truth is, I'm not. I'm not okay with sharing you. I'm not okay with watching you become someone else." Clara felt like the ground had been ripped out from under her. She had been so focused on her own happiness, on finally being able to be herself, that she hadn't stopped to consider the cost. And now it seemed that cost was Daniel. "I didn't mean to hurt you," Clara whispered, tears streaming down her face. I needed this, Daniel. I needed to be able to be myself." "I know," Daniel said softly, his own eyes filling with tears. "And I wanted to be able to give that to you. But I can't, Clara. I can't keep pretending that I'm okay with this. I love you, but I don't know if I can do this anymore." Clara felt like her heart was being ripped in two. She had finally found the courage to be herself, to embrace the woman she had always known herself to be. But in doing so, she had pushed away the man she loved more than anything. "Daniel, please," Clara begged, reaching out to him. "Don't give up on us. We can figure this out. We can find a way to make this work." Daniel looked at her, his eyes filled with pain. "I don't know if we can, Clara. I don't know if I can." In the weeks that followed, Clara and Daniel tried to find a way to make their relationship work. They went to couples therapy, talked for hours about their feelings, and tried to find a balance between Clara's need to express herself and Daniel's need for security and stability. But no matter how hard they tried, the distance between them only seemed to grow. Clara felt torn in two. On one hand, she had finally found the freedom to be herself, to live as the woman she had always known herself to be. But on the other hand, she was losing the man she loved, the man who had been her rock for so many years. One night, after yet another argument, Clara found herself standing in front of the mirror, staring at her reflection. She was wearing a beautiful dress, her makeup perfectly applied, her hair styled just the way she liked it. But for the first time, she didn't feel beautiful. She felt empty. She thought about all the times Daniel had told her how much he loved her, how he had supported her through everything. She thought about the way he had looked at her when she first told him the truth about herself, the way he had smiled and told her that he loved her no matter what. And she realized, with a sinking feeling in her chest, that she had taken that love for granted. She had been so focused on her own journey, on finally being able to be herself, that she had forgotten to consider how it might be affecting Daniel. She had forgotten to consider the cost. Tears streamed down Clara's face as she reached up to wipe away her makeup. She didn't want to lose Daniel. She didn't want to lose the life they had built together. But she also didn't want to lose herself. In that moment, Clara realized that she had a choice to make. She could continue down the path she was on, embracing her true self, but risking losing Daniel forever. Or she could try to find a way to balance both, to be true to herself while also honoring the love she shared with Daniel. It wasn't going to be easy. It was going to require compromise, understanding, and a lot of hard work. But Clara knew that it was worth it. Because at the end of the day, she loved Daniel. And she knew that he loved her, too. As she stood there, staring at her reflection, Clara made a promise to herself. She was going to fight for their relationship. She was going to find a way to be true to herself without losing the man she loved. And with that, Clara took a deep breath, wiped away her tears, and went to find Daniel. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew one thing for sure. She wasn't going to give up without a fight. Clara found Daniel sitting on the edge of their bed, his head in his hands. The room was dimly lit, the soft glow of the bedside lamp casting long shadows across the walls. He looked up when she entered, his eyes red and puffy, and Clara's heart ached at the sight. She had never seen him like this, so broken, so defeated. "Daniel," she said softly, sitting down beside him. "We need to talk." Daniel nodded, but didn't say anything. He just stared at the floor, his shoulders slumped. Clara reached out and took his hand, squeezing it gently. "I've been thinking," she began, her voice trembling, "about us. About everything. And I realize now that I've been selfish. I've been so focused on my own journey, on finally being able to be myself, that I didn't stop to think about how it was affecting you. And I'm so sorry for that." Daniel looked up at her, his eyes filled with a mixture of pain and hope. "Clara, Let me finish," Clara interrupted gently. "I love you, Daniel, more than anything, and I don't want to lose you. But I also don't want to lose myself. I need to find a way to balance both, to be true to myself while also honoring the love we share." Daniel was silent for a moment, his gaze searching hers. "What are you saying, Clara?" "I'm saying that I want to make this work," Clara said firmly. "But I know it's not going to be easy. It's going to require compromise, understanding, and a lot of hard work. But I'm willing to do that, Daniel. I'm willing to fight for us." Tears welled up in Daniel's eyes, and he reached out to pull Clara into a tight embrace. "I love you, Clara," he whispered, his voice breaking. "I don't want to lose you either. But I need to know that we're in this together, that we're a team." "We are," Clara said, her voice filled with conviction. "We're a team, Daniel, and we're going to figure this out together." The next few months were a whirlwind of emotions, challenges, and growth. Clara and Daniel worked tirelessly to rebuild their relationship, to find a balance between Clara's need to express herself and Daniel's need for security and stability. It wasn't easy. There were moments of doubt, moments of frustration, moments where it felt like they were on the verge of giving up. But through it all, they held on to the love they shared, using it as a guiding light to navigate the storm. Clara continued to explore her feminine side, but she did so with a newfound sense of mindfulness and consideration for Daniel's feelings. She made an effort to include him in her journey, to share her experiences with him, and to reassure him that he was still the most important person in her life. And Daniel, in turn, worked on his own insecurities, learning to trust Clara and to support her in a way that felt genuine and heartfelt. They set boundaries together, discussing what they were comfortable with and what they weren't. They agreed that while Clara could continue to explore her identity, they would close their relationship again, focusing on each other and the love they shared. It was a compromise, but one that felt right for both of them. As the months passed, Clara and Daniel began to find their rhythm again. They laughed together, they cried together, and they grew stronger together. Clara felt more confident and secure in her identity than ever before, and Daniel felt more connected to her than he had in a long time. One evening, as they sat together on the couch, Clara turned to Daniel with a smile. "Do you remember when we first talked about opening our relationship?" she asked. Daniel chuckled. "How could I forget? It feels like a lifetime ago." "It does," Clara agreed. "But I'm glad we went through it. It was hard, and it hurt, but it also brought us closer together. It made us stronger." Daniel nodded, his eyes filled with love. "It did. And I'm so proud of you, Clara. Proud of the woman you've become, and proud of the life we've built together." Clara felt tears well up in her eyes, and she leaned in to kiss Daniel softly. "I love you, Daniel, more than anything." "I love you too, Clara," Daniel whispered. "Always." As the years passed, Clara and Daniel's love continued to grow and evolve. They faced new challenges, new adventures, and new milestones together, always holding on to the love and commitment that had brought them through the darkest times. Clara thrived in her newfound identity, embracing her femininity with confidence and grace. She became an advocate for the LGBTQ+ community, using her story to inspire and empower others who were struggling with their own identities. And Daniel stood by her side every step of the way, his love and support unwavering. Their relationship wasn't perfect, no relationship ever is. But it was real, and it was theirs. And through it all, they never forgot the lessons they had learned, that love requires patience, understanding, and compromise, that true happiness comes from being true to oneself while also honoring the love we share with others, and that, no matter how hard things get, love is always worth fighting for. And so, Clara and Daniel continued to write their story, a story of love, growth, and resilience. A story that proved that, no matter how difficult the journey, love can conquer all. By the time Clara and Daniel celebrated their 10th anniversary, they had built a life together that was filled with love, laughter, and joy. They had weathered the storms and come out stronger on the other side, their bond unbreakable. As they stood together, hand in hand, watching the sunset over the horizon, Clara felt a sense of peace and contentment wash over her. She had finally found the balance she had been searching for, the balance between being true to herself and honoring the love she shared with Daniel. "Thank you," Clara whispered, leaning her head on Daniel's shoulder. "For everything." Daniel smiled, his eyes filled with love. "Thank you, Clara, for being you, for loving me, for never giving up on us." And as they stood there, watching the sun dip below the horizon, Clara knew that they had found their happily ever after. Not because it was perfect, but because it was real. And because, no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, hand in hand, heart in heart. Thank you so much for watching till now. It means the world to have you here. This community is all about empowering each other and celebrating the incredible journeys of everyone on their path to living authentically. If you're ever feeling lost or alone, remember you have a whole family here for you. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and let's keep inspiring each other, sending you all the love and strength in the world. Until next time, live your life by your rules.